Hi everyone, welcome to our Tuesday night Dream Team chat. I am so pumped that you all are here. We did a little housekeeping before, but the big thing tonight is personal growth. And I mentioned this at the start. I am so excited for tonight's content. And it's because it is something that is so important to this business, but is often overlooked, or it's just missed or it's skipped. And tonight, that's what we're going to be focusing on. We're going to be focusing on the personal growth aspect of this business, of your life, and how we can really make an effort to step into it because it is literally can be the heartbeat of your business. And I think that it's one of those things that even though it may not be top of mind all the time, if this is not working right, if this is not actually functioning, if this is not moving forward, you can see your whole business fall apart. And obviously I don't want that for any of you. But it's one of those things that takes recognizing and active participation. Okay. So I do believe that this personal growth aspect of this business is foundational for your long-term success in this business. Okay. And it, like I said, it's not something that's completely obvious, but it is something that matters to your business. And I've heard this said by other leaders, and me and Alex have said it before. And I'm just going to reiterate it because there's so much truth in it. And I honestly believe this. After spending 7-ish years here in Scentsy, I can tell you that there are aspects of me and who I am that are better because of this business. And so I believe that Scentsy is a personal development business disguised as a fragrance company. Okay. We walk around and we're selling wax and warmers and we're doing all the smell good things. But in reality, we're doing so much beyond the surface that is actually growing us as humans, like growing us as people, growing us as moms, growing us as leaders, growing us as friends, as businesswomen. We are actually working out parts of us as we're doing our day-to-day business. And that's really cool. And I just want to tell you that since I've been a part of Scentsy, I have grown more confident. I have done things that I never pictured myself doing, like speaking on stage to 3,000 people. Like I've never pictured myself doing that. I never pictured myself leading a team of at one point 800 plus. Like I've never thought that I would be um walking into situations and talking myself into striking up conversations with strangers. Like I never pictured myself doing those scary things that before I would have been like, heck no, like I'm not doing that. I'm not going to grow a team. I'm not going to do this. Like when I first joined Scentsy, I said I'm not going to do the team thing. But I've grown, and this business continually teaches me how to grow, and it continually pushes me out of my comfort zone. And so me personally, I've experienced this and I'm excited to continue to experience it. But the ways that this business has taught me how to be a person and a Scentsy leader and a Scentsy consultant is so incredible and so valuable. And so that's why we're shining a light on it tonight. Okay. Um, and so just so you guys are aware, when I say personal growth, we're talking about head work and heart work. Okay. Because it's not all things that start here. It's not just watching the training. Oh gosh. It's not just watching the training videos. Okay. It's not just showing up to the conferences. It's not just doing the tasks, right? Because anybody could do that. Anybody can watch a bunch of trainings, or anybody can just do the tasks mindlessly, follow up with people or schedule posts, right? There's growth included in that, and there's work that we have to do within ourselves, that our head has to do and our heart has to do. Okay. And so I want you guys to think about these 3 points as we're moving forward. Here's why you want to do this work, and why it's so important that we focus on this aspect and that we take time to put effort into doing personal growth and really honing in on what that looks like. And I'm going to go into what that actually means. Like, what does personal growth look like day to day? I'm going to get into that, but this is why it's so important. I want to start out with this so you guys understand why we're going to spend time talking about it and why I want you guys to just hear my heart and hear where this is coming from. First thing, we this is my second favorite part of, or my second favorite topic that I love to talk about is attraction marketing. And we are in an attraction marketing business, right? We are here trying to present solutions to people in the form of written word, okay, creativity, writing words, making posts, sending text messages, sending messages, right? And we are trying to make that look attractive. We are taking pictures, we're sharing pictures, we are involving people in our life so they can see what it looks like to be a Scentsy consultant or what it looks like to have fragrance in their home. And so we are in the business of attraction marketing, whether you want to acknowledge that, whether you want to dive head first, whether you want to ignore it. Like, I just need you to understand that that's the business that we're in. And personal growth makes you attractive. Okay, so when you are taking the time to become better, when you are taking the time to take care of yourself, when you are taking the time to do what you can to make your business run better or your business be better or to be a better consultant, that's attractive to the people around you. And not just to your customers, but to the people who are watching you and potentially going to be your teamie in the future, right? When they're seeing you take pictures or take Instagram videos of you on your trainings and then you implementing it and you attending the leadership or you attending Scentsy Family Reunion, and you're doing things to make yourself better as a consultant, as a leader, as a teammate, as a peer, as a person. People want more of that. People not only want to see it, but they want to cheer you on. They want to rally behind you. And more importantly, they're going to want to join you. That may not be teammate wise, but they're going to want to see what's going on, either as a customer, either as a supportive person in your life, or as a teammate. Okay. And people are going to take one of those stands when they see you thriving personally. Okay. And there's different ways that we can do that. Again, I'm going to break it down, but there are different ways that you can grow personally. You don't have to take it all on. But when you show people that that's what you're invested in and you're taking the time to actually do that, people around you are going to say, wow, that's really attractive. We love to see people better themselves, right? I'm addicted to shows of watching people better themselves, right? So like that is something that we crave, but it's also something that we are in control of in our own lives. And in this business, we sometimes tend to like forget that that's there. The second thing, the second reason why is personal growth, making yourself better, striving to do more, to grow yourself will make you love the work that you're doing, right? When you step into your office and to you, it represents a place where you get to have access to limitless trainings. You get to grow your brain. When you step into your office or your space and you get to write gratitude notes to the people who have supported you and the people who are buying from you, when you get to lead a team, right? And you get to step out and do the scary things, like you get to be a guest speaker on training on a different page, or you get to be a speaker here on Dream Team Chat, and you get to step out of your comfort zone and you're doing things that are growing you because they're scary or they're building your confidence, or whatever that looks like. You're building your relationships with your customers or your teammates. It will make you love the work that you're doing, right? But on the flip side, if you step into your space and you're finding that you're dreading having to do these things, you're dreading having to talk to customers, um, you're dreading having to get on social media and look at the team page because you're uninterested in training yourself, or you're uninterested in doing the challenges or growing a team or any of those things, you're not going to look forward to doing the work necessary to grow at any lengths or be successful at all in this business, right? And so when you are focused on the things that can grow you, you'll learn to love the growth despite the growing pains, despite the obstacles that may come along. Like, you will understand that in order to grow your confidence, you have to overcome the nervousness that comes with public speaking or leading a training or, reaching out to people and having joint conversations. Like, all of that requires you to overcome some personal obstacles, or maybe it's actual, like, I have to take really good pictures, but my phone's not great, or I've never done this before. I have to learn how to do it. Um, you're going to really love the outcome, and you'll learn to love the process too. Okay. But focusing on that personal growth part and what it's doing for you as a person will make you love the work that comes before that. Um, and then the third part is probably one of the more important parts, is that without taking those chances and without investing in growing yourself and stepping outside of your comfort zone, you will be unwilling to do the work necessary because you're going to dread it, and you're going to say, I actually don't want to do this. I actually don't want to participate in my business at all because it requires pieces of me that I'm scared to face, I'm scared to overcome. And so you'll end up not doing it. But the truth of the matter is that that unwillingness leads to you walking away from your business or not participating it in the ways that you should. And point blank, you need it to do the work necessary. You need to grow as a person to do this work. Okay. We can't start as essential consultants day one. And if we have never grown, then we never get past that point. We're never going to promote to certified because we're never willing to make the conversations and take the pictures and have the relationships with customers needed to hit that 1,000 PRV to promote to certified. Like, that's just the reality. That's just the reality. For some of you, that first $1,000 taught you how to speak to customers, how to show up on social media, how to post daily, how to be consistent, how to put your face to your business, how to follow up with customers. Like, strictly PRV, some of you not struggled, some of you were really afraid to step into what it required to get that first promotion and to hit that first $1,000. And it is, I can't even explain how proud I am of everyone who has pushed past any insecurity, any obstacle, any mindset block that they had. It takes a lot of work for a lot of people to move past that, but that's personal growth. But if you are unwilling to do that, you won't do it, but you need to be willing to in order to do the work. Okay. So now we're going to go into, what are you talking about? How can I be personally growing? Like, give me some like actual things that I can be doing. I got you. Hold on. Okay. It's going to be 6 points. So get ready. First things first, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Your wellness matters. Okay. Mom to mom, I know that this is hard because many of you are moms and many of you can relate that we tend to put ourselves on the back burner, and we tend to say, I'll do me in the end, but the end never comes. But the truth of the matter is that when you feel good, you perform good. You perform better than you do if you don't feel good. The most successful people in the world, in any field, the most successful people take care of themselves and have super strict wellness routines. Like, you look at millionaires, billionaires, CEOs of companies, and you watch them, and they are getting up early, they are eating good food, they have time blocked their time, they know what they're doing, when they're doing it, they're moving their body, they're taking care of themselves because they understand that when you feel like crap, you work like crap. Okay. And anybody who has not slept well for a day, 2 days, a week, who has not ate well, you know what that feels like. And you know what comes with trying to be productive in that. So the first thing, the overarching theme here is taking care of yourself. So this means sleeping well, okay? This doesn't and I know that some people are night owls, okay? And if that works for you, that works for you, but being a night owl doesn't mean that you don't sleep, right? Your body still requires sleep. So, if you're a night owl, you need to still make sure that you're getting enough sleep, whether that's during the day or whatever, but you still need to be getting enough sleep. Drinking water. Okay, drinking water. Does that mean you can never have coffee? No. Does that mean you can never have your Dr. Pepper and coconut creamer like I'm addicted to right now? No. Okay, but that means that prioritizing your water intake. Okay, also means eating things that are good for your body. This also does not mean that you can't have that candy or that cookie. 'Cause I work at a bakery and I love cookies. Um, that does not mean that you can't treat yourself. That doesn't mean you can't eat the things that you love, but you also need to make sure that you're eating food that nourishes your body and that gives your body energy. Okay. And you also need to move your body. Okay. A body at rest stays at rest. And I can tell you, prime example. Saturday, I had a rotting day. I don't know if anybody knows what that means. I heard today it's a very like Gen Z phrase. And I get it, I get it, I get it. But rotting basically is like you doing the minimal amount of things and basically like staying in one position primarily most of the day, like just like basically chilling in your bed, watching Netflix, doing what you can from your phone or doing what you can from your bed, barely moving. If you want to like get up and move around a little bit, you can. But I felt like my body needed that. And one day was enough. I knew it was gonna be enough, but guess what I wanted to do on Sunday? Stay in my bed. I didn't wanna get up again. And I didn't wanna do anything. Why? Because a body at rest stays at rest, and that's what it will crave. But if you keep your body in motion, and this does not mean going out and getting a gym membership, okay, been there, done that. That does not mean that you have to go and do strength training for 2 hours. Um, but it does mean that maybe you take yourself outside for 15 minutes in the sunshine, right? Or take a walk at night with your family. Or you, instead of on your lunch break sitting and eating, eat and walk, or you eat for 5 minutes and you walk for 10, right? Or you stand up and do like some exercises or a walking pad or something, right? Move your body, keep your body flowing, keep your body well. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, super important. All of this is important. Never stop learning. Never stop learning. We've talked about growth mindset in the past, and this plays right into that. Um, no matter what level you reach here at Sensi, no matter what level you reach in life, right? No matter if you no matter what your goal is, no matter what you want to do, no matter what position you're currently at in your life, we have never reached a peak. Like even as a superstar director, I am not at the title where I have nothing left to learn. And I don't believe that we will ever get there no matter what we've done in our life where we can sit back and go I can learn nothing else. I know everything. I am the wealth of knowledge. Okay? So we need to actively keep our minds open to new things. We need to know what new things to take and implement. We need to be mindful of that, but we also need to know that we don't know everything. And being open to learning will keep you invested in your business. It'll keep you invested in people. It'll keep you invested in life. Okay? There is no finish line. Require yourself to always be a student. Always be a student. always be hungry for more. Um, and the second part of this is something that I've really loved and I've really tapped into since being in Sensi, actually. And it's this idea of surrounding yourself in this business with people who you want to be like. Okay. And so if you want to be a superstar director, then put yourself around other superstar directors. If you want to have a $2,000 paycheck, then put yourself around other people who have $2,000 paychecks. Surround yourself with people who are doing what you want to do, achieving what you want to achieve, so that you can learn what they're doing and you can implement it in your own life. Okay? Never stop learning. Number 3, get accountable to someone. Okay? Accountability is by far one of the most valuable assets that you have 100% control of, but not a lot of people take advantage of. And I think it's because the scary part of it is when we ask somebody else to hold us accountable, we are no longer weighed by our own excuses, right? If I tell my husband I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow, and then I wake up and decide I'm not going to the gym today, I am not the only person who has to hear my dumb excuse. I then have to speak the words to my husband when he opens his eyes and goes, "Why aren't you at the gym?" And if I tell him I just didn't feel like it, guess what? He's going to give me an earful of something that I deserve, right? And it's not about the negative repercussion of that, but it is this idea that you will have somebody who not only supports your goal and supports where you're going, but also helps you get there in terms of holding you accountable, in terms of making sure that you are not giving in to your own excuses. Because by golly gosh, I bet money, so much money, that each of us find it very easy to not keep promises to ourselves. We can say one thing and do the complete opposite the next day and forget about it a week later, right? We are most of us are terrible at holding ourselves accountable. I'm really great at it in some areas. In some areas of my life, I'm really great about it. In other areas, like the gym or not eating a cookie a day, not so great. Okay, why? Because I'm not asking other people to keep me accountable. I say no, I can do it, but I know I can't. And right now, I guess I'm okay with giving into my own excuses. But in this business, you're not going to get very far if you are full of excuses with nobody holding you accountable. So, your accountability person should be at the same title as you, but they should also be on the same path as you. Okay, so let me make sense of that. If you are a director and you want to get to star director, then the person that you want as your accountability person is the person who is also a director and who is also working their business. They don't know everything, obviously, because they haven't gotten star director yet, right? So they're still learning, they're still implementing the things, they're still figuring it out, right? But they are actively working on getting to star director. Okay. The person that you don't want as your accountability partner is a fellow director friend who gives into their own excuses, refuses to take accountability, and is not putting in the effort. Okay. It's important that you guys stay in the same, you guys are on the same playing field, moving in the same direction, right? It is the literal picture of a team. We are all here together, level playing field. We are all working towards the same goal, right? So what can we do individually or collectively to get us there? Okay. You should be meeting with this person either virtually, in person, on the phone, You should be meeting with them regularly and talking about your goals and actually holding each other accountable. See, because it's not enough to just ask your fellow star consultant, your fellow certified consultant, hey, will you be my accountability partner? I see that you're working your business. I'm trying to work towards the next title and getting promoted. Let's be accountability partners. Cool. Yeah. Okay. And then you don't talk to him for 3 months. Like that has done zero. Okay. So getting an accountability person also requires the accountability part where you guys are talking to each other regularly and where you guys are actively heading in the same direction and having conversations about it. And the thing is, the beautiful side of this, besides like the some of us are like itchy and cringy at the thought of somebody else holding us accountable. I get that. But the really cool part is that when you are vulnerable with this person and you do give them insight into where you want to be and you let them know what you feel like are weaknesses and you're telling them about your goals and then you're checking in and you're saying, I did this today, and they're cheering for you. And they're going, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. Yes. I also did this today. And you get to turn around and cheer for them back and go, oh my God, yes. Okay. All right. So you are having joint conversations. I had a joint conversation. I'm going to work on this today. You're going to work on that. And we'll talk tomorrow. Do you know how much energy that is? That energy moves you forward. If you feel like in this business that you do need outside motivation, right? Which we talked about before, like me and Alex say, motivation is fleeting. Okay. We feel motivated on January 1st to get in shape, but motivation is fleeting. Just go to the gym on February 1st and see. You'll see that. Okay. Motivation is so it's a feeling based emotion that comes and goes. But how do we keep motivation in momentum? It's we give ourselves like little breadcrumbs along the way that we know will pump us up and will continuously drive us forward, because what's motivating is wanting something and doing something and then achieving something, right? So it's that desire to have 5 joint conversations, right? And then it's actually doing that, right? And then it's that feeling of I had 5 joint conversations and now I'm motivated to accomplish, or and maybe somebody joins, right? One person joins out of those, and now you're motivated to continue to have joint conversations the next day, right? That momentum builds motivation. And what's a really cool thing, especially in this business, is we are surrounded by people who may not necessarily have the motivation for themselves, but I know all of you are burning with motivation that you can give to others, which is so cool. And that motivation comes from praising. That motivation comes from encouragement. That motivation comes from sharing what has worked for you and finding out that it helps somebody else, right? Which is why also me and Alex work so hard to create this better together mentality where we say sharing is caring, where we say reward what you want repeated with your team, where we say shout out the people on your team who have joined, who are doing things, who are getting paid at title, who have top PRV, who are showing up in their business, how they're working their business. That's why we say all those things. That's why we encourage you guys to show up in that way. Why? Because it's motivating. We understand that you guys are powerhouses for motivation for other people, even if you don't feel it. But your accountability partner, when you guys lock into that relationship, something really magical happens. First of all, there's accountability for what is not getting done on your own. You have somebody there who encourages you to just do it, and maybe has a key to unlock that insecurity that you have. Boom, now you guys are having conversations about what helps you get over that hump. But the beautiful thing is that you have somebody, and it's not meant to be relied on. You shouldn't rely on somebody else to keep you motivated. But when somebody notices you, when somebody says, I seen you, that might be the little piece of motivation that you needed to get over that creative block, or that down day that you were having because you got ghosted when you tried to do your follow-ups all day long. or when your best friend finally said, "No, I don't want to join," right? What they give you in that motivate in that accountability conversation that you guys scheduled and you talked about could be what gets you over that hump. Or they might just be a really encouraging ear to listen to. And me and Alex are big proponents on having somebody to talk to because this business isn't always rainbows and butterflies. We love it here. We love it here. There's joy found in this business. I feel it and I hope all of you either feel it or find it. But the reality of it is sometimes there's hard days. And what me and Alex have together, that she is my accountability partner and I am hers. And I do have a couple other people that I talk to pretty regularly, but that's my person. And I know when something's going wrong in this business, I can go to her and it's a safe space to say, that's really frustrating. I wish they wouldn't have done that. Or I can't, that's my safe space because I know her response at the end of the day is going to be, I hear you. I get it. How can we move forward? Right? So your accountability partner isn't meant to just be the person who pushes you towards the next goal because you guys are in the same spot, but that accountability person also turns into that safe space. And that is so valuable. That personal growth that comes with being accountable, first of all, game changer. Okay. That will do wonders for your business when you learn how to be accountable to somebody else, and how to be accountable for somebody. Right. And as a mom, I get that sounds like a headache, right? Because we're like, I'm already accountable for 3 people. But it doesn't have to be that burden. Okay. It gets to be that place where you have somebody who understands the ins and outs of this business like you do. And again, you're working towards the same goal and you understand what's required and you have fun and you figure it out. Okay. So get accountable to someone. That's number 3. Number 4, set goals and achieve them. So we're kind of going back to the breadcrumb idea that I just mentioned. But it is so important for you to recognize how capable you are. And it's easy to say, and some days it's easy to say out loud, and you can look at yourself and go, I am so capable of setting goals and achieving them. But there's going to be a lot of days that you don't feel that way. And so the purpose of setting goals and achieving them is to make it purposeful for you to put goals in front of you that you know that you can achieve, that are milestones for you to pat yourself on the back and for you to feel good about. Again, going back to um having those moments of celebration builds momentum and it builds motivation. Okay. And so there's an acronym, it's SMART. The acronym for SMART in making SMART goals. Um, it goes, okay, if you want to write this down, because since he actually asked you to do it on your workstation, but SMART stands for the S is specific. This is how you make a SMART goal. Okay. You make a very specific goal. Okay. Very specific. Like I'm going to hit 2000 PRV. Okay. That's specific. It's measurable. How can you measure it? Well, PRV is measured by money spent, products bought, things like that, right? Attainable. Yeah, it's attainable. 2000 PRV is attainable for everybody. Let me make that very clear. But it's attainable. Is it something that you can actually do? Don't be telling yourself that you can go fly American Airlines plane tomorrow, right? That's specific. I don't know if it's attainable for most of us. Okay. Is it realistic? Again, those are kind of the same things. But sometimes our idea of attainable and realistic are not the same. And so you need to know how to differentiate the two. Okay. And the last one is time bound. So if I say I'm going to do 2000 PRV by the end of the month, to me, that's a SMART goal. That covers all the bases. It's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's realistic, and it's time bound. I'm putting a time on it. Why? To me, the time bound part is so important because we can sit there and make all the goals we want. But if we say, I'm going to do 2000 PRV, cool, win. Someday's not a day on the calendar. Okay. So you have to be specific about when you're going to hold yourself accountable to that goal. Okay. And again, this is helping yourself be accountable to you. And also doing these SMART goals is a really great practice for you and your accountability partner. Okay. Um, but what you can be doing and what you should be doing is setting these goals and setting them with your sponsor and your director or your director. You should be going to them and saying, this is my goal. This is how I know it checks all these boxes. And I'm just letting you know. Again, it's the accountability factor. And that's where you as a leader, if you are a sponsor or if you are as a director, you can come in with the encouragement. You know exactly how to encourage. You know exactly how to hold somebody accountable. Okay? You know what you're looking for. You know what to help them with. It is so important to when you're on the receiving end of that as well. Okay. So setting these small achievable goals in our business help us grow confidence. That's where the personal growth comes in, right? When we set a goal and we achieve it, I want you to think about the last time you set a goal and you said, this is my goal and I really want to achieve this. And you put all the markers in place and you did it, right? And I want you to think about that feeling. I want you to like channel that feeling and think about how you felt. That feeling can provide so much. Yes, feelings have no intellect. Okay. We shouldn't run on just feelings. And yes, feelings are fleeting. Okay. But there is a lot of power in feelings. And we know that because we see that in toddlers, we see that in kids, we sometimes see it in grown adults. Okay. Their feelings can be very powerful. That feeling we can channel into our self-confidence. And even if we don't know it at the time, when you say, I'm going to follow up with all my customers today, or I'm going to work on this MailChimp email and I'm going to get it sent out today. Okay. And it takes some work and it takes some effort. And maybe you even struggle a little bit. Maybe you even fall off and you take a 2-hour break and you accidentally fall asleep. And then you come back to it and you do and you accomplish that goal. Guess what? The next time that task comes up, guess who's going to feel a little bit more confident about achieving it? Or when you follow up with everybody in your customer base, and then the next day, me and Alex challenge you to go have 5 join conversations, guess who's going to have a little bit more confidence in stepping into conversation with these customers? You are. The self-confidence builds. It's like when you do these things, when you set these goals and you achieve them, it's like you're watering a seed. And there is nothing that confidence mixed with direction and focus can't achieve. But in this, I don't want you guys to forget about your really big, scary goals. Okay? Yes, the small, I don't want to say small because it may be really huge to you that you're planning on achieving, but the goals, the breadcrumb goals are great. But you need a goal that makes you feel a little nauseous when you think about it. Okay? That goal of making 3,000 a $3,000 check or promoting to superstar director or earning this incentive. If that makes you feel a little nauseous, good. Keep that there. Keep your eyes on that. Keep walking towards that. Keep crawling towards that. I don't care what you got to do to get to that, to keep moving in that direction. Do more of that. Do not take your big, scary goals off the table. Those should stay there. And it does not, and those are not the ones that are time bound necessarily. Some things are like this incentive time bound, right? But making, hitting superstar director, you can put a time on that. But there are some things that take time, right? And we're not exactly sure, like, retiring, quitting your job, doing this full time, retiring your spouse. Sometimes that takes some time because it's not all in your control, and that's okay. But those scary, nauseous, big goals need to be a part of your equation. That's what's going to challenge you. And you need to challenge yourself. You need to challenge yourself constantly. But that's why the other goals, the breadcrumb goals are so important because you're accomplishing things and you feel more empowered and more confident to challenge yourself with the big goal. But challenging yourself feeds that hunger to learn more. It builds your self-confidence, it builds your discipline, it focuses your attention. That is all components that you need that are so valuable to have, not just in this business either. Like all of these things can be applied to any area of your life. If you're struggling with something completely else, take these things and apply it. And I guarantee you will see results, promising results. Okay. Number 5. It's been a while since I've done an entire dream team chat by myself. I apologize. Number 5. I love this one. Take your weaknesses and make them your strengths. Okay? We all have areas in this business about ourselves in our lives that we're like, I'm not good at that. That's not an area I feel comfortable diving into. Orville says, take your weaknesses and make them your strengths because you don't have to live with your weaknesses. Isn't that so freeing? Like when I first heard that, I was like, what are you talking about? I've had this weakness my entire life. Like, but the reality of it is going back to exactly what we've talked about a million times, everything in this business is a learned skill, right? And pretty much everything in your life is a learned skill. Like going to the gym and being disciplined is a huge weakness of mine, but I can build up the routine and the discipline to make working out a strength of mine. I mean, I will get physically strong, but actually being disciplined enough to do it can be a strength of mine. I could be a gym person. I don't know if y'all will ever see that, but I could be, right? But in your business specifically, if there are areas of this business that you feel absolutely is a weakness of yours, practice it. It's a learned skill. If you feel like you're not good on social media, be on social media more intentionally. Okay. Scrolling's not going to help. I promise. I've tried. Be on social media intentionally. If taking pictures is a weakness of yours, taking good quality pictures is a weakness of yours, guess what? Take more pictures, practice more. If talking to people is a weakness of yours, cool. Do that more. Find more people to talk to. Everything about this business that grows success is figure outable. You can figure it out. You can learn anything. I learned how to do Canva. I learned how to create an email on MailChimp. I didn't know any of those things before. I learned how to become a better public speaker by practicing, right? And if you are my frontline, you might hear this from me. Questions about the workstation, right? Being scared of like technology or the workstation because it's scary. It can be a scary place, right? You go there and it's overwhelming. I get that, but you're not going to break the workstation. You're not going to break Canva by going on there, clicking around, pressing buttons. Like you're not going to break it. So go on there and get comfortable. Stay there until you get comfortable, right? The things that are our weaknesses are the things that we don't feel good. We don't feel like we're good at. So get good at it. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be the master of Canva. You don't have to be a professional photographer, right? You get good enough at it that you feel comfortable and it's no longer a weakness. So when somebody says, "Hey, um, can you show me how to make a flyer on Canva?" You don't just be like, "Oh no, I don't mess with Canva. That's too scary. I can't figure that thing out." You can say, "Oh yeah, no, I can show you what I know. Oh yeah, let me show you what I do." Right? Take your weaknesses and make them strengths. I love that. Okay, number 6, last one. Here we go. Probably my favorite one, honestly. Um, one of our mottos in this business is such a beautiful picture of what I see when I look out at our team, but also the Scentsy community as a whole. And it really paints this beautiful picture of what Orville and Heidi intended when they started Scentsy. And it's this idea of give more than you take. Okay. So living out this idea, this level of generosity in your life and in your business, oh man, the ways that you can grow are literally limitless. When you put yourself in a position to be generous to other people and to be generous in whatever ways you can find in your business, and you have this arrows out mentality, it literally changes everything. Changes everything. Um, I think that it's really awesome that this business's motto. Like, this is what one of the core foundations of what Scentsy was built on. And you're not gonna find, I don't know if you'll find a lot of other companies that literally strive to live this out in everything that they do. Maybe some of you haven't had a lot of interactions with our home office, but you don't have to be a part of home office. There's literally pieces and twinkles and glimmers of home office walking around amongst us and in our community all the time. And it is literally the very simple give more than you take, arrows out position that people choose to take, because it's not necessarily an easy position to take all the time, right? Um, but it's one that literally not only changes lives around you, and I am not being dramatic by any sense. Okay. It is the truth that when you put yourself in a position, and I don't mean being generous with money, okay? If you have money to be generous with, that's wonderful. But I don't mean money. You can be generous in so many ways, you guys. You can be generous with your time. You can be generous with your words. You can be generous with your prayers. You can be generous with the things that you do, right? The things that you're good at, being generous with that. There are so many ways that you can impact others by giving out of the excess of what you have. And that's what you have to figure out on your own, is what's the excess that I have that I can give more freely to people, right? And one of my things this year, just a little peek in my heart, is this year my word for this year was serve. I wanted to put myself in positions where I could serve people, serve my church more, serve people more, serve my team more, serve my customers more. And that meant something different in all of those areas. What I could give, that meant that looked different for everything. But I very simply just started asking, how can I help? What can I do? What what would you like me to do? But how can I help? Oh my gosh. That is huge. And as a leader, game changer. Game changer, right? Because sometimes people aren't looking for help. Sometimes people aren't looking for you to do something. Sometimes people are just looking for you to listen, and be generous with your time. But if you consistently and constantly put yourself in a position where you can ask people that question, and that, and be giving with whatever their response is, willing, if you can be willing, right? In that time, if somebody asks you for $1 million, you can't be like, well, that, okay. But like, if you have what they need to give that freely with no strings, with no hopes of anything in return, if you can do that, I don't even know, like, personal growth, yes, but it's just like you lose nothing, right? There's like that saying that, like, your fire doesn't burn any less when you light somebody else's, right? If you take one candle and another candle, and this candle's not lit and this one is, and you make it light up this fire doesn't go away, right? And it doesn't burn any less. Now both candles get to burn bright. And it sounds so cheesy. I know it sounds cheesy, but the power of being able to say, how can I help? What can I do for you? There, uh, there's pieces of you that grow and that make you better in so many areas. It's limitless, which is why that's my favorite one. And I literally get emotional thinking about what that looks like in our Scentsy business. Um, and I just want you guys to know that you all have a role in that, and you all have a part to play, and you all have an impact to make on the people around you, and your team, and your business, and your customers, and your family. And by taking that position, you open yourself up to so much, so much. And I can't give you specific examples because it's going to look different for everybody. I believe in God. My faith there is God. And I just know that when you pour out of the blessings that you have, God pours blessings back onto you. And he loves to see that. And I just know that whatever you believe, nothing bad comes from pouring into others. Um, so that's the sixth one. Give more than you take. Live that out. Okay. So that's personal growth, in my opinion, summed up. Not so summed up, but summed up enough. And that is the final piece of our building blocks for business. And I think that that's a really strong way to round out how you can be actively working towards a growing, thriving business. And so I hope that me and Alex have spoken something in any of these last 4 weeks that have given you guys encouragement, and that has given you guys access to something in you that allows you the freedom to step in to the consultant that you were meant to be, or gets you closer to the consultant that you were meant to be, or the leader or the peer. That is our hope for you guys, is that there is just, even if it's just one nugget, 1 week, one sentence that we said, that unlocks the potential in you that we all know you guys are so capable of. Okay.